GM Farcaster. It is Monday, August 12th, and I am here with DeWoofy today for 29 minutes of Farcaster news to start your day. And I'm very excited to have you here. And you're just getting back from some conference you've been at like all last week, but also we need to talk about your new venture. So I was going to leave that for the end, but I think I'm going to pull that up right now because I want to know more about what you're up to, because this is exciting.
Yeah, I'm
So,
pumped.
yeah.
I'm pumped to be here. I'm pumped to have a new gig. I was at the Science of Blockchain conference over in New York. Got to see a bunch of my favorite people. The New Yorkers,
Always fun.
guys. Yeah, the
Love
Icebreaker
it.
crew,
Love
the
it.
Bracket crew. Ironically, Adrian is where I'm going to be in a couple weeks.
She's not there right now. Unfortunately, she missed you.
Yeah, it's all good. We're ships in the
Yeah.
night. But yeah, I joined Opacity as the head of growth, and I'll be working with Euler Lagrange, who I've been connected with, but becoming friends with for some time. And this is another Farcaster, like I don't know how to put
Love
it, the serendipitous moment for me. Yeah.
Love it. I love that, and I love that team. They're fantastic. So this is a great. I love this. I love this. It's great to see. So welcome home, I should say. And then, so New York was good. Got to see all your crew. How was the conference itself?
Yeah, I guess it's one of the GigaBrain ones, right? So I actually saw like Tayeb and the Icebreaker guys and Jack at like the pre-conference the first day, and I was sitting there watching one of the talks. I'm like, I don't know why I tried to convince myself that I understand anything that's going on here. PhDs talking
Is it
about
very highly technical kind of a thing? Is that what was going on?
Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, it's usually in Stanford, so it's got that energy. But a lot of other really good stuff. Got to connect with some great people. Went to Deepin Day, which Opacity looks like we're going to be really big in. Met some current partners, met some old friends, and yeah, overall just got I guess like the best part for me, got like really bullish on what we're doing on Opacity. So that's always nice to feel like, or you always like hope that it's going to be when you join up, and then when it actually happens, it's really nice. What's up, everyone? GM.
I know. I'm saying I'm pulling up all the messages right now because I can. So we're testing out the webinar feature as well as streaming on YouTube and Twitter today, because I wanted to see how that all works with comments and things like that. So thank you for those who are doing some testing. I do links. You're hilarious. First. He was first.
Obvious.
He was first. Yeah. Obvious. And then I have to, that was appropriate. A little woof for the morning. So fantastic. All right, let's dive into a few things. We've had some fun things happening on the timeline. Before I jump into like the Merkle stuff, I wanted to shout out Steven Sell introducing Stories, a Farcaster native stories app. Each post expires after 24 hours. Composer action for posting new stories in review. Frames for viewing stories, see below. Sign in with Farcaster on stories.steer.fun for some same functionality as composer action. Planned basic editing tools, standalone, probably native app, easier browsing stories of people you follow. It's 3 a.m. and Claude has been carrying me hard to get this over the line today. This was really cool. So first I just happened to come across it with, I think it was Alina and Ted, and there were a couple other folks who were posting them. And I was like, oh, what is this? And then kind of backtracked until I found who created it. Did you see this at all yesterday?
I was looking at someone else's Warpcast at the conference, and I was like, wait, is that a story? And it was like, it was someone quoting Ted. So I was like, I will go check that out. My stance sort of remains the same on it. Like, crypto people are bad at short form video, but I love that we're trying stuff out. It's not good.
That's accurate. Accurate. I do love it. And the easier you make it for me, the more likely I'll try it. Right. So I'm kind of excited to give it a shot just to see how it works. But there have been so many times when I'm like, I just want to post these pics and I want to post more than 2. from this thing I'm at, you know what I mean? And share them on Warpcast. And I haven't had a really easy way to do it. So this to me might be, that easy way, which I would love. So yeah, excited.
Yeah.
Naomi, I love this. I deleted my Instagram recently, so I cannot get sucked back into this thing.
Yeah, Naomi, I can promise you the content is not going to be as good. I think we need the tools so that we can all practice. So like I'm bullish on these ideas, but like the idea that this is going to be as good as my TikTok is like it's 0%. But it's fine.
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not, but I think it's a good step in the right direction. And I know this is something that Ted has talked about for a long time, wanting stories of some sort. So
Ted's the only person on Farcaster that can do short form video content well. This is one, so it's fine. Exactly. I'm not surprised she's excited about it.
Exactly. We may have to. Our intern Elliot is in here today, and Elliot, I may have to have you play around with this and see if you can make something happen. Very cool. And then this also dropped in the past couple days. Miss Angel dropped this fun little Farcaster personality thing that was really cute. Mine says I'm 20 to 30 years old also. So I'll take it.
Accurate.
It incredibly inaccurate, but okay. But we're gonna take it. And it's really kind of a fun little frame. So go check it out. Some of it was kind of accurate. It was kind of funny when it got into like the introvert extrovert stuff. I was like, that's very accurate. So there were some things that were pretty accurate and other things that were just fun. So go check that out from Miss Angel, always creating some fun things. Did you do yours yet? I was looking, I didn't see yours. So
this is another thing I haven't gotten to yet. Link says he's 20, so I assume I'm early teens, probably something like that. I think is probably on. If this is just making everyone a generation younger, it's actually a really great way to get everyone to post it because everyone's like, yeah, it's totally a young at heart. Let's do it.
He says his youthful energy and his immature jokes. Yeah, that's probably it. The roasts were brutal. The roast part, so there's like a who are you? There's a roast. There's like all these different frames. You just keep going, and it's so much more. And there's a roast, and the roasts were pretty brutal. Yeah. Next, what kind of sandwich are you frame? Yes, exactly. We're going through all the BuzzFeed stuff.
I'm excited to learn which Disney princess. Yeah, I need to know which Disney princess I am. So
that's an excellent question. I feel like Jasmine for some reason, and I don't know why.
I get that a lot.
I don't know why. I have no idea. Just my gut feeling. Yeah, there's only a couple redheads, so yeah, I'm probably one of them. I'm probably that one. I can't think of her name right now from Brave. With the that's probably me. Introducing Explore. This is from DWR, a new way to discover apps, actions, and frames on Farcaster. Learn more about apps that use sign in with Farcaster, quick access to actions and frames. Begin by tapping on the globe icon where trending was. Live on mobile. That too. Live on mobile, coming soon to web. Developers can submit their app to be listed. So this is pretty cool because it has been difficult to find things. You might see them once and then they just disappear. Like you never see them again, or you're like, if you don't bookmark it, you can't get back to it. So this is pretty cool. And then related to this is update. We've had a bunch of submissions already. Team is taking some well-deserved time off this weekend. We'll start going through the submissions on Monday. Depending on sustained interest, we will automate more of the process and use the app DCs versus external form. Aware that form asks for 3 images and we only have 1. We'll fix later today. So this was for submitting your app for the Explorer. So more to come with that. But this is pretty cool. Like I definitely need a better way to find some of these things. So I think this will be that way. So what do you think?
I'm very excited about this. I've told some people this in private. It's not like a hidden thing. I've just been like formulating the thesis in my head that Dan, it's another one of these that Dan has talked about his thesis, like, and everything's downstream of attention, everything's downstream of Twitter because of it. And it's a much longer theory that maybe I'll get into a pod, like a full pod sometime. But basically, I think the smart thing here for Dan to do, that she's trying to do, is he's sort of the distributor of distribution, right? Like he's the kingmaker in terms of what you can do. And now you can get funded just having distribution through Farcaster. So I think it's going to be a very interesting kingmaker arc for Farcaster over the next 12 months.
That's an interesting point. Because of the shift with Moxie and what's happening there, you can get funding just for casting. So if you have something that drives a lot of attention with an app or something like that, that's going to be interesting. So
that's true, but I'm talking about literal like VC funding.
Oh, like, VC funding, true.
The question over like I think Kiosk was the shot over the bow. A bunch of people announcing that they are investing in Farcaster apps. Icebreaker announced, and I'm not at liberty to disclose more, but there's a lot more on the way, is what I could probably say.
Great point. And I know Ponder's been getting some funding going, and there's a lot of different things that are happening there. So great point. Yeah, we're going to see a lot more development in the ecosystem for sure. We have something cool. So the reason we're testing out the webinar feature today is we have something cool coming with Snickerdoodle very soon. We'll be announcing shortly. So there's another one who's building within the ecosystem and also bringing in new brands to build in the ecosystem, which is a bigger part of that. So interesting things happening there, and we'll have more about that soon. So, all right, moving on. This also from Dan: for developers looking for feedback on sign in with Farcaster, besides support for other clients like Supercast and HeroCast, what's the biggest pain point? What's confusing? What do you wish existed? The more specific, the better. So if you have some feedback on this, dive in here, because I'm sure it will be very useful to the team. Do you have any thoughts on this, on signing with Farcaster, and how that might be useful for something that maybe isn't like a client, but somebody who might want to use it for other purposes?
Well, I know we're going to see a lot more diversity on like experiences that look a lot less like Twitter. Like, hypothetically, in my head, I see room for that, but also just like, there's unofficial, there's kiosk, like there's people trying new things. Obviously, WoW just been around with it forever with Supercast, but I think for me, like the most bullish I've been it's always been because you have this like accessible social graph now and creating like totally new experiences, right? Like things that basically everything should basically have your social graph tied in somewhere or another. There's nothing that we do on the internet where it wouldn't be nice to like find your friends, like easier, right? Even very private stuff like Venmo, like I want my social graph in there, right? Maybe not like fully displayed, but to know that, hey, this is the username you typed in and you also follow them on Farcasters. Like it's nice, like mental.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Offload. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of room for signing with Farcaster to take off further. I think context makes it a lot better than like signing with Ethereum, but that's not anything against the ENS folks. I love them as well, obviously. But we're starting to see more composable blocks to put your social graph in places where, you didn't know you needed it. And then you get there, you're like, how the fuck did I live without this?
Right. Yeah. And I've had times where it's like, I went to sign into something and I'm like, oh, I can't just sign with Farcaster here. That's annoying. It's like, I just started feeling that recently, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting turning point.
I casted about that a couple weeks ago. I was like, I get genuinely mad when like I try a new crypto app. Like I find something I didn't find it on Farcaster, which is rare, but it happens. And then I sign in with like Ethereum, and I'm like, how do I use this? Where's my friend? I don't understand. How am I supposed to find anyone? Like who's using this? And if they don't have my Farcaster graph, I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah, it's really interesting how quickly I've adjusted to that, and I'm like, yeah, soon sign in with your eyeball. Yeah, well, you can kind of do that right now with if you're using the passkeys, you're signing in with your eyeballs essentially.
It's true. I've met someone doing sign in with Palm for everything, like crypto Palm transactions at SBC, which is pretty interesting. And then at Opacity, we're connecting like any information from Web 2 into your ID, right? So I'm excited to see
that's interesting.
What happens there.
I love that.
Proof citizenship with your Farcaster ID is the type of stuff we could do.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's important. And to your point about the signing with your eyeball, I was when I was at Basecamp and Fest, they did have the World Coin orb, and I just can't quite get there yet. I did
it right away. I did it as soon as I saw it in New York. I was like, They're like, you can't get rewards if you live in the US. I'm like, I don't care. Like I have to try new things. Like if I see it, I'm in, dude. Yeah, it's fine. I don't like,
we get nothing good. We get nothing good here. we get screwed from everything. Gary, we need you to go away now because you're ruining our WorldCoin rewards. So I'm not going to get my eyeball scanned unless I can get a reward. I'm sorry. That's funny. That's really funny. Yeah. So moving on from horse facts. Whoops. Let me pull it up. That would help. It's a Monday. I am tired. If you're having issues with the latest mobile app version, action buttons, recast, or other prompts not responding, can you share your device, OS, and app version trying to track this down? And this was related to a bug report from Peachy having some issues on her phone with Composer action buttons that are no longer working. So if you are having a similar issue, please go comment on this cast from Horsefacts. And from Dan, lower priority feature requests, pin casts on profiles, edit casts, animated PFPs, all are nice to have, but features don't solve an immediate top priority. My comment back was pin casts on profiles, please. Would be awesome. Top priorities right now: increase supply of interesting and entertaining content, grow retained daily active users, improve developer Legos, improve hub reliability. I feel like pin cast on profiles is a bigger thing than I think he realizes. So
I will,
especially for brands. Especially for brands.
I'm willing to steel man down on this one. Because I think he's mostly concerned with new user retention. And this is I was talking with people at this in New York as well. It's like if you just look at it from like a first principles, like incentives perspective, the people who want it, and I don't disagree with you, I want it too, we're pretty much fully locked in at this point. Like it's gonna take a lot for us to leave Warpcast or Farcaster. So helping us doesn't help Dan as much as it used to anymore, unfortunately. Whereas this other stuff will help get new users in, which will actually make us even stickier. So it makes me a little upset that I'm not priority, but I'm willing to admit the case why I might not be.
I get it, but still. Okay, so here's my thinking on this. How hard can it be if you already have it for channels? And that's my question for pinning to profile. So
not a dev.
Not a dev. And I could be completely wrong. It might be very hard. They might be like, prof, it's incredibly hard. And you'd waste a lot of our time. So that might be the answer. That might be the answer. But I feel like, that one should be a fairly easy lift since everything's already built, but maybe it's not. But I feel like if you're a brand in particular, and yes, you should be using channels. Let me just say that. But I still feel like that pin to profile for things like you're developing like stories, that would be a great thing to pin to your profile throughout the day. Everyone just can go back to it, whatever. For brands being able to pull the most important thing that they have going on that week, have it pinned right there. All these different things. I think there's so many use cases that to me is such an easy, I don't know. To me, that's a no-brainer. We should have that already. But
yeah, I think
I agree with the rest. I get the rest. I totally do.
Well, I'll steel man down a little bit more. The two things would be one, just to like start some beef with you, Prof. We need beef with you.
We need beef. Oh, we're gonna get to that.
But I'll make this
That's
quick.
Next up.
The first thing I would say is like you could launch it, but like it always muddles everything else, right? Like every time you're launching multiple things at once, it makes it less clear on your OODA loops on what's working and what's not. And then I think probably the main thing is like I think Dan's like all algo, all like 90% plus of activity on TikTok and Instagram is probably all just scrolling through your algo. I think he's using that as a North Star, and anything that takes away from that is, even if it's marginal, is time away from figuring out algo.
And I get that. I definitely get that part. I feel like, yeah, I get it. I get it. But I'd still, I just want to
still want it.
I still want it. I still totally want it.
I think
Link's interesting. It actually doesn't make sense to only use channels as a brand because the whole value is portable audience, and channel audience is second class compared to account audience. Interesting point. I still think channels are a better place for brands to land, but I think it's not the only place. And I also think because of the way Warpcast works, it's easier for multiple people to be casting into a channel than to be managing an account together. So there's that too. But I do get it that we do need better algo for sure. And speaking of beef, now I got to find the. Hold on while I find my beef stuff. I did have beef things. Wait, where is it?
Yeah, well, you're looking for that. Now we said TikTok is all algo.
Yeah, TikTok is all algo. Yeah, very much so. So this from Boscolo. Blue Sky has more users than Farcaster and is also sufficiently decentralized. What is the best argument for why devs should build on Farcaster instead of Blue Sky? And this was in relation to a lot of complaints recently that Farcaster doesn't have enough beef. I'm happy to fight with you. And then it wasn't really a fight, but it was quite a significant discussion. So if you jump in here, it does go, they do really dive into why build on Farcaster versus Blue Sky. A lot of it relating to the way in which Blue Sky is decentralized and the differences on the technical side for Farcaster. So I'm not going to go in. Literally, the rest of the show would just be me reading this thread because it's long. But it is a really good discussion. So I'd highly recommend jumping in there if you want to dive into a little bit more on that and the differences between the way in which Blue Sky is decentralized and the way Farcaster is. And then this from Murtaza. I actually like that there's no beef on Warpcast. The people are much more civilized. The conflict-driven engagement model of other social media platforms had a profoundly negative social effect. It's more constructive to incentivize people to converse with respect while steering clear of meltdowns and dunking. Okay, this is 100% my feeling as well. So I am not looking for more beef on the timeline for the sake of beef. I just am not. Like, I can find that lots of places, especially in an election year. Very easy to find. I do appreciate civil discourse and, discussions of different opinions, but I don't think we necessarily need beef just to drive attention. But what do you think? You might disagree.
I hate to be reductive, but I feel like much of this comes down to your definition of beef, maybe, right? Mm-hmm. Like, depending, like, Mirzada, I don't know if I'm saying that right. He comes from Twitterverse, where
I really need him to like come on the show and just pronounce his name for me, and then he can leave. Like, I just so I make sure I stop messing it up. Yeah, I just know I'm messing it up.
When he needs a story pinned to his profile, it's just him reading it once. So
exactly.
I think for the people who like come from Twitter who are looking to like escape it, then like this can feel very like safe and cozy. And it's a nice break, which is good. But I also think that this zeitgeist is a bit homogenous, I would say.
Okay,
so I totally get the other side of like people wanting to argue, because like, is this thread beef, from Bosco? And I love Chris. I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, right? Like, it's hard to, that really depends on your own definition on if that's beef or not, right? And it's funny that like, even when Dan's like, let's argue, it's still like an interesting, like constructive giant thread of information. But if we're, being realistic, I think the bull case for beef, if I'm gonna like stand on that hill at least, is that it's healthy to have more diversity in ideas, so that you can sort of have an evolution of like the best ones to crop up, and that tends to come with some sort of antagonism sometimes. I don't know if there's any way around that. So I think that's my bull case for beef. I'm not actually going to start arguments with people just for the sake of it, but I think I will.
That's what I hate. I hate that when people just start arguing for the sake of argument. And also because you now have this economic incentive to go back and forth with replies, I can just see that devolving very quickly as well. So beef, conflict, differences of opinion welcome that every day of the week. That's great. But when it comes down to just like, ad hominem and just back and forth and that kind of thing, then I get like I would churn quicker, I think, if it was more like that than the way it is. So we shall see.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I think with the breaking news stuff, you really need it more than other places, which is why Twitter wins there, because people get angry and then you can sort of quickly discern. Truth is a little bit touchy, but at least where people stand on excites style, stuff like that.
Truth is a little bit touchy is an understatement. Truth is difficult to discern in many places. That's funny. And speaking of discerning truth, I love this. Not sure if I'm having a real conversation or if I'm being milked for Moxie. And poor Linda is the prime example of this situation. So Linda from Bountycaster spent the past 2 hours responding to Bountycaster questions. To keep things manageable for me, I need to add a hard stop on time, answering questions to 10 minutes total for each post. This was my norm before Moxie Meta, prioritizing most frequently asked questions and from active Bountycaster users going forward. And this was in response to her prior cast where she said, feature request ability to turn off Moxie rewards for some of my casts. I've always tried to respond to Bountycaster questions when we have a feature announcement, but the Moxie meta has blown up. Number of questions I get on each post overnight from usual 5 to 10 minutes of answering questions to easily hours feels endless. So, and then she did drop the fact here for those who are actually looking for assistance. So this, I think, has been a growing problem. And I've seen it on a couple things where it was really, really funny, where I quote casted something. And then I had multiple replies of people going, did you mean this to be a reply? This looks like it should have been a reply. Are they showing replies now as top cast? And I'm like, it's clearly a quote cast. Are you stupid? And then I realized what's going on. And I'm like, I'm not answering any of you. So I just replied at the top going, it's a quote cast on purpose. Welcome to Farcaster. Like, do you not understand how that works? Like, what do you do? So I can't even imagine Linda's situation right now, where she has a very high number of followers, like 377,000, and just getting slammed, absolutely slammed. So I don't know where we go from here, but I'm hoping that, maybe the Moxie team can do something where it can be turned off for certain casts, because I do think that's really taxing on time. Any thoughts on this at all? And how you're seeing it all kind of roll out?
Yeah, I don't try not to speak on Moxie publicly too much for obvious reasons. I will say that I was publicly sort of disappointed with the direction that the DJing community took. Not because Yasik did anything like specifically wrong. I just had a distaste for it. I didn't like the way that the incentive structures played out. So I took a very active stance away from all the tipping, all the games, even when it would have been like hypothetically helpful to like increase my engagement or something like that. I took a very active stance away, and I haven't had these problems at all. It's pretty clear to me that there's a high correlation to getting involved with these games, and definitely a fuck around, find out type stance right now. I thought it was very funny, and I'm sure a lot of people who are playing these games didn't see it, but someone quoted me that like I had the second highest APY for any Moxie fan token. And I know it's because no one bought my token because I don't stay in those circles and I don't play those games. So I think there's like, if you hate it, there's pretty easy way out of it. And if you're talking about how much you hate it and you keep doing the same stuff, well, I just don't have a lot of sympathy. So, do what you want to do and it'll all work out the way it's supposed to is my rough take.
All right. And I think we just have to let it play out as well. But Dan has a different approach now, which I think is interesting as well. Trying a new policy, replying to every cast of mine with mid-replies will earn you a mute. Best part is you won't know if you're muted. Be thoughtful or at least funny. which is fair. And then this was funny. Clearly a trap. Dan did a Sunday AMA, and let's see if he was just trying to trap people into there so you can mute them. I don't know. I don't think so, but I thought that was funny. I think it's going to be something that we just have to figure out how to manage and find the good and the bad. And I think with everything that we do on here, there's a lot of experimentation and a lot of iteration. And I think that's just the way it's going to be for a while. So yeah, we'll see. We shall see.
Yeah. I will say that there are ways to incentivize like high quality content if you wanted to. And I've been floating this idea for a long time. I think I talked to some people who are thinking about implementing it, but like it would have been very cool because the magic of DGen, in my opinion, was giving a lot of power to people who are already effective curators. And that's how they gained reach. And that was sort of the special moment that we lost. Yeah, Link's getting generational wealth off me. I got you, brother. Dozens of dollars a day, I'm sure. But you could do interesting things like limit tipping to one tip per week, aggregate it all into 1 week, so you're incentivized. Like it does take this massive cognitive load to tip constantly every day, and you won't get as much attention, but you will get people who are really excited to use your service at the very top level of the people with the most reach. So there's things you can do if people want to do it, and if they don't, like, it's fine. You can check my transaction history to see.
Yeah, I think we'll continue to see. Yeah, like I said, we'll continue to see some experimentation and we'll get to a point where things make a little more sense and start to find a right rhythm. A couple more things. I do want to shout this out. Coming to Toronto in the next couple days. This is from Snickerdoodle. We're excited to see a lot of you in Toronto this week. Stop by and say hi at happy hour on Tuesday. Or they also have a coffee the next day, if this wants to load for me. Meet up for coffee the next morning. So you can find the details on these frames from Snickerdoodle. Check those out. And if you're going to be in the Toronto area for, I think it's the Futurist Conference, go here and check that out. And then lastly, I'm going to leave you with this meme that I have added to, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Okay. We'll just give it a second to load.
Well, in the meantime, I don't know if you know that they're holding that event, I believe, next door to the Pizza Dow event.
Cool.
So if you didn't know that, I'm sure you'd like to plug that. Like, you should definitely do both. I was talking with Isaac from Snickerdoodle in New York. So they're doing that.
Definitely. Pizza Dow events, always plug. Love snacks, love the team. Anytime you can get to a Pizza Dow event, just go. It's always fun. And there's always great folks there. And always great pizza. And this lastly from Kazi, babe, please stop. You're not even close to being a niche micro celebrity, internet micro celebrity. Yep. This one's doing numbers with 4 legs. So I don't know. I feel like that every day. I think you could relate. So there we go. So go check it out. Oh, Lynx, are you going to be at these events in Toronto? Go say hi to Lynx. There you go.
As far as I know, Lynx is doing some excellent work helping to host. So big shout out, Lynx.
Very cool.
In a very friendly man. Like, if I have fake beef with anyone on the internet, it's definitely Lynx. This is real compliment. This is real compliments. This is not disingenuous. I heard you doing a great job, brother.
I got you up to say, and I'm not being sarcastic. I really mean
not being sarcastic. Great job, Lynx.
All right. Naomi, there are, can somebody do this in, I need free pizza and beer. Can somebody do this in my city? Pizza Dow does these all over the world. And honestly, actually in May, for Bitcoin Pizza Day, you can host, they will pay for it. They will help you do this. We'll help you organize, but you can do this in your city and bring everyone together. So get ready for that. It won't be till next May, but also if you have anything going on in your city and you want to host something, reach out to Pizza Dow. They're happy to sponsor. So there.
But there's also Club Ted. There's Matt at events, right? Like the answer is always be the chief. Like, just do it. Do it yourself. Don't wait, Naomi. Just do it. It's fine. Like, you need a couple $100, we can get you that. I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. Good point about events. Events will sponsor Farcaster meetups. So if you need, they have, certain limits on that, but if you want to do a Farcaster meetup in your area, definitely reach out to Matthew or Club Ted. And there you go. So there you go. Club Ted gave us 200, events gave us 200 for FAR IRL. So that's for what's happening this week in Toronto. So fantastic. I did not know they were co-sponsoring as well. Fantastic. Amazing. Okay. And with that, oops, no, link. This is the one I wanted to show. Just Ow It. By the way, that was the name of a show, of a Twitter space I created. And then I realized that The Thriller had a podcast by the same name. So I changed it. But yeah, I love that. All right. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you all helping me test out something this morning. So I apologize, yes, to crypto. Hanging out somewhere else, looking for us. I apologize. I forgot to post something there. I meant to. But thank you, because this was really helpful within the chat and things you aren't seeing here. We can star things. We can put emojis. There's a whole bunch of things we can do now within StreamYard. So we might continue to use this. I think this worked really well. Please let us know. Let me know your feedback using this as opposed to other platforms. For those who are in there, and you can just drop it in the comments. I'd appreciate it. And with that, we are going to call it. And I will be back Wednesday with my regular co-host. Please come back, Adrian. I'm lost without you. So she's coming back. And we'll be back on Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. But this has been a pleasure. Doofy, anything else that you want to shout out or share that you have going on before we wrap? Definitely go check out the Woof channel. You have to go check that out.
Check out Woof's. Vibe Check will be back. I've just been extremely busy, so yeah, I've got some things in the works. I wanted to do some pivoting around what it actually is as I experiment and try to do something mostly I'm just interested in. So that'll be back, and then yeah, head of growth at Opacity. So if you are working on anything where you want verified Web2 data, we're doing cool stuff with like TikTok algorithm. We're doing like Reddit algorithm stuff. We're doing and then obviously we got some meme stuff going on as well. But you'll see a lot more of us. So there's a lot coming on that front. But if you're working on something, let me know. I'm in the process of like doing all the aggregating of good ideas. Great. So always interested to work with more Farcaster folks.
And I've been loving dark mode. Good point. I've been really loving the Vibe Check. I think you've had some great interviews and really enjoyed them. And I'm glad to restream them and be able to chat while they're happening. So that's been a lot of fun. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it coming back when it's ready.
Yeah. We'll have some, I think we're going to have some less famous, less middle class, maybe even Farcaster lower class, but what I would consider world very high class people, and start to share some of those stories. Use the platform to extend the reach of the people that I think are really interesting and should have a following on Farcaster, so we keep them around. Is sort of the rough thesis right now, but we'll have more of that on the way.
All right, awesome. Okay, so look for Vibe Check. Check out Woof. Woofs or Woof. Is it Woof or Woofs?
It's Woofs. It's Woofs.
It's Woofs. Okay, I was having a little brain fart there. And we will see you Wednesday. Thank you again to Woofy. And with that, everybody, bye-bye.